What's up, guys? It's Bree, and I'm back with another video. So I watched the new Netflix show Running Point, and now I got some questions and expectations. So, have you heard about this show? Have you seen the show? Well, go get caught up and then come back here so we can discuss.
Alright, they asking for the queen. I'm a bad bitch, she's a savage. Look back while I twerk. No comparison.
So when I first heard about this show, I was kind of interested, but I low-key forgot because Netflix is not my main platform, so I never go over there. But I came across the show and I decided to check it out, and y'all, I was pretty impressed. So it kind of made this one scene from whatever award show that was with Minnie Kaling and Kate Hudson. I was like, is this supposed to be something I should know? I know now. Basically, let's kind of go over what the show is about. So basically, it is about a reformed party girl, played by Kate Hudson, who must prove herself as a businesswoman when she's unexpectedly put in charge of her family's pro basketball team. So she basically is the only girl in her family. Her eldest brother is actually the president of the basketball team at the time. Their father, who had passed away, I don't recall about how long from this point of the program he passed, but he's gone. So basically, she has to prove herself because she originally started out in the basketball team as a charity director, like basically in charge of doing all of the charitable things related to the basketball team. And she got basically put into this position because her eldest brother has a bit of a drug problem. So he knew that she is the best person for the team. She is capable. She knows what she's talking about when it comes to basketball. And I feel like he thinks that she just hasn't had a chance to really shine. So he gave her this opportunity, and to most people's surprise, well, I guess to the audience, I guess, she actually does a great job. Now, I don't think a lot of people would agree with that as far as people inside of the Running Point universe, but to the audience, she did a pretty good job. So I'm basically going to just talk about what I felt about the show and kind of relate it to the questions that I have, and then talk about my expectations because I found out that there is going to be a season 2 of the show, which I'm very excited about because a lot of these programs that I've been watching, the season 1 kind of helps, but you really need the season 2 to determine, is this really going to be a show worth watching? Because season 1, they're just trying to do everything to make you stay, but season 2 really keeps people coming back. So let's go ahead and jump into our questions. The first question that came to my mind, which it does for most everything I watch, to really help me get into the reality of the show, is what are the age differences? Like, what are the age ranges of the characters? Because it will help me kind of understand why people are at certain points in their life. And I feel like I start asking this question more as I get older, because when I was a kid, I feel like it was easier to differentiate, but also the casting was better. The casting now, I'm trying to understand what are the age groups, because I feel like most of them clearly are adults. They're not super old, like in their 50s, but they're not in their 20s. And it's like, okay, they're in their 30s, but are all of them in their 30s? I don't know. And then when it comes to Jackie, he seems like a kid, right? So maybe like, definitely not in high school, maybe like between 19 and 23, but how old exactly? And I say this also because I don't remember him taking any drinks or drinking anything. So it's like, okay, is he 21 or not? He's messing around with girls who are in college. Okay, so you're college age, but what age? And then for him to be kind of like, I don't want to say slow. Well, I'll get more into it as we keep going on with the questions, but it's like he doesn't seem like he really knows a lot about things that he should by this age, especially not growing up in like a privileged environment where he may not have been exposed to certain things. I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of like off. So that's my first question. How old are these characters supposed to be? Was Isla actually good at her job as charity director or officer or whatever her job was? That's what I want to know. Her brother Cam kind of threw her a bone by giving her that position. And it's clearly, from what it seems like on the program, that like it's a role that is like, look, this is a job that's like for technicalities, but we don't expect you to do too much. And we saw her having that charity basketball kids camp thing, but like what else did you do within your role? How long had you had that role, and what did you do within it? Like, were you even good at your job? Like, did you enjoy the job? Because it seemed like she liked the job because it was related to the team, but not her job exactly. So that's something I was kind of wondering, because I feel like that would have made her at least have somewhat of a relationship with people on the team, like as far as players. But when she gets into her presidency position, they all kind of seem like strangers to her. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but I noticed that. Does Isla and Jay Brown have a history? Because the entire time, I feel like they were always having him like look at her at the side of his eye seductively and kind of like give her a glance and, ooh, look at you. And it's like, okay, but they actively talked about how she's been in a relationship with her man for years at this point, at least what, 8 years or so, and that he is, I don't want to say newly divorced, but he is still in the freshness of divorce within the last few years. So it's like, okay, and if he, how long had he been with the team? Like, so did you know him? Were y'all just like work friends? But they seem to have like some kind of sexual tension going on the entire time. So by the end, when the kiss happens, it's kind of like, well, duh. Like, when was, like, I'm waiting for this to happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's, can we get some clarity, please? Let's figure that out. Four, why was there no unity within the team? Now, I'll say this. I completely understand now, like, when it comes to these professional sports teams, these dudes are at work. They are on a team for work. Like, they're not trying to make friends with these dudes. Like, it's not a part of the, like, it's not part of their job to be friends with everybody. And that's fine. You're not going to be friends with everybody on your team. And that's not even just in professional sports. That's in college, that's in high school, that's in middle school, that's whatever. You just need to know how to work as a team. However, comma, if you have a good relationship, it's more likely that you would have a better relationship and work better as a team. But it's like the way that they kind of interact with each other, not now, not everybody. It seems like the only few people who have a good relationship are the background characters who don't have lines, Chet Hanks' character, and that one guy, the foreign guy. Um, they all seem to be cool. And for the most part, that other guy, what's his name, Michael on here, not 100% sure. That All Star dude, and then the guy who they brought up from the G League, they seem like the only ones who don't really like have a rapport with everybody. Which, okay, sure, the guy from the G League, that makes more sense because he's new. He's like brand new to the team. But the other people, I don't know. Oh, here we go. The guy whose name I couldn't remember, his name was Marcus. He just seems like he's just too cool for school, and I'm the elite player. I'm the one people come and play for. It's like he doesn't seem like he is willing to bond with the team. So, like, how long has everybody been playing together on this current team right now? Because I know that, players get traded and stuff like that all the time. So I want some clarity on that, please. Thanks. Why did Isla's husband give up on their relationship so fast? Now, from my perspective, he gave up too quickly. And I'll say he gave up too quickly because he, okay, I think, they have been together for such a long time, and they're only just now, as she became the president, starting to finalize their wedding and actually pursue getting physically married, because they have been together for a while now. So it already kind of, now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight, why all of a sudden they start trying to get married now? Was it his idea or was it her idea to, let's go ahead and get through it now? As in, like, as, except without having, what am I trying to say? They could have done it before, is what I'm saying. It seems like now that she has more on her plate, more responsibility, he's looking for more from her, but also he's not, because he seems to understand, but then it's like all of a sudden he doesn't. Now, I'm not going to give Isla a pass, because I do feel like she needs to learn how to prioritize her personal life and her professional life. And it's like, you need to do this. And I feel like maybe where she kind of dropped the ball in that is having her newly discovered stepbrother be her assistant, and he barely know what he's doing. So it's like, why don't you have another assistant? Because Brenda Song's character, Allie Lee is not her assistant, which even though it did kind of come off that way, no, she has her own role in the job. Like it's not her job. So it's like, okay, she was willing to convert to Judaism for him. He never even asked, well, I don't know if he asked her, but he kind of expected her to. And she, after coming to the conclusion, was willing to do it. Even after finding out she could lose her inheritance and everything like that, she was still willing to do it, which is like, okay, cool. And he wasn't even tripping on that. And I feel like what came off to her was like, what kind of had her cold feet was that the forever thing actually coming to the realization of that is what kind of got her cold feet. But the fact they were even able to talk about that kind of, to me, seemed to come off like, you know what, these two are meant for each other, because she was able to talk to him about it. He was able to receive it and understand where she was coming from. And they kind of got resolved with that. You know what I mean? But the part that I thought was weird was, it was like he was fine with all of that, fine with her, not being around, asking him about her stuff. But it's like, as soon as she couldn't make it to his awards banquet, the one awards banquet, and I get it was super important. I'm not negating that. But it's like, oh, you missed this one awards thing. I just can't do this anymore. What? You haven't been to a single basketball game since I've been here. And you're tripping out about this. You haven't asked me about any of this stress and pressure that I'm under, but you ready to break up with me because I didn't go to one of your events, even though I was rushing to get there, even though I was communicating with you what was going on and why I may or may not have been there or just have been late. And it's like he wasn't really willing to hear her out about that. Now, that's why I say, if she had a better personal assistant and not her stepbrother who don't know what he doing, may not have worked out that way. It may have resolved itself better. But you gotta understand, she just got this promotion. So it's like, this stuff is new. This is new stressful stuff happening back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Like, bro, give me a break. And another thing with this whole situation with her man, it just made me think, so is the problem that she wasn't there for you in these instances, like now, or is it because now you're not the only thing that her life revolves around? Like, she's not the only thing, like, you're not the only thing that she has to worry about. She has other things happening. And to be honest, her job is somewhat just as important, if not more, than yours. Do you want to be the big man in the relationship? And if that's the case, communicate that with her. Because maybe things can be arranged, things can be changed, or y'all can just go your separate ways. Think about that. Number 6. What has Jackie changed about his life since learning of his heritage and getting this new job? Now, since he has learned about his new siblings, who his dad is, clearly his life has changed. He's been able to meet his siblings. He turned down $3 million, I think it was. And now he has this new job where he's a personal assistant, and he just has access to things that he never thought he would. We've seen him hooking up with all these girls, not knowing that these girls are trying to use him and exposing him. And he kind of learned that the hard way when a girl who he started to try to pursue, working for the dance team, basically let him know, hey, I don't want some guy doing all this. He's like, what? What do you mean? And it's like, you don't know who these jump offs are? Sir, bye. But I'm wondering, like, what else about him has changed? Like, has he moved? Does he have like a new house, a new apartment? Because I think when we first met him, the place that he lived at was either with his grandma or in the apartment or house that he lived in with his mom, who is now gone. But like, what else? Like, do you have a new car? Do you have a car at all? Have you bought any new toys? Like, like, I don't want to say adult toys because that sounds sexual. That's not what I mean. But like stuff that, like, now that you're an adult and you have access to money, what's something that you always wanted to buy, like new clothes or camera equipment or literal toys like arcade games and race cars and stuff like that. Like, what are you doing with your new lifestyle? Or are you just trying to get acclimated more with your professional life. Like, I see that he's trying to educate himself to be better at his job, but what else? I kind of feel like, well, I'll get to that more so toward the end with the expectations. And number 7, why did Cam give Isla the presidency if he expected her to fail? And who is the vice president? Now, as far as the vice president thing, do basketball teams and organizations like this, don't they have vice presidents? Why wasn't whoever that is promoted to the presidency? Why was Isla given that job and not whoever that was promoted up? But the reason why I asked why he expected her to fail is because in the beginning, when he is giving her this role, this position, you're made to think like, oh, it's because he trusts her and he knows that she's the best for the job and she has the smarts for it. But by the end, we realize, oh no, she's doing better than he thought that she actually would, to the point where he starts to sabotage her and realizes, hey, by the time I'm ready to come back, what if she's done a good enough job where they don't want me back? If they try to replace me with her, I can't have that. So it's like, you casted her because you thought she was good, but you didn't think she was going to be that good. You thought she was going to be good enough just to hold your spot, but not good enough to replace you. And now you got egg on your face, or should I say powder on your nose. So, for expectations, I'm just gonna go based off of the characters and mainly just our main characters because some of our side characters are also included in that. So, starting out with Jackie, I have some bullet points. Number 1 is that he'll just be better at his job. I think he's gonna start to work more with the fan experience side of the thing. So he may either not get promoted, but just switch departments. And he'll be more so like in charge of like the half times, the freebies, and the cheerleaders and like the dance team. So that may have more time for him to interact with his love interest who is on the team. But when I said I was going to come back to this, I feel like he may end up going to college or taking some classes out of college. So that way he gets more business acclimated. And I feel like that is some way that he'll get closer to his brother Sandy, because he's the only person who went to college in the family to get his job. Everybody else just got their jobs handed to them. I think he's gonna upgrade his lifestyle. Like I said, I don't see anything about him that has changed, but they also haven't shown us that side of him. So we'll see if that changes. So like maybe his clothes, his car, and his house. I think they're gonna do like a montage type of thing for him with something like that. And I feel like he's just gonna make some friends. So I feel like we're gonna get to know more of his true personality. And in making friends, he's gonna make friends with the girl on the dance team, with Ness his brother. But I think he's going to just learn from his friends how to be in the world that he's in. Because like he said, he's from like, uh Boyle Heights. He's like a kid from the street. Not from the street, like you know what I mean. He's a kid from the street, but it's like now that he's in this lifestyle, I think he's gonna meet people who are from the streets but are now in this lifestyle, and they'll kind of help him get acclimated in the same way that Allie Lee did when she first taught him how to be a better personal assistant. Ness. So Ness is one of my favorite characters on here, surprisingly. I feel like I always kind of like the goofball characters because people want to make him seem like the dumb one or something like that, but what he is good at, he's good at. So I think we're gonna see more of his family, or like just him more so like professional and family life. So I think we already kind of saw his wife and stuff. I think we're gonna see his kids, and I kind of think that his wife is gonna get pregnant, so that we'll have like more of him being like the dad who has a kid coming and da 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 da. Like I think that'll be a thing. But I also think, like I said, that we'll see more of him doing his actual job. So he's the general manager, and we didn't really see him doing a lot of actual work stuff like his actual job. So I think we're gonna tap into that. And I think we're just gonna see a lot more of him building his bond with Cam and Jackie. Not Cam, Sandy and Jackie. Now, I think he got super close with Jackie right away, which made Sandy kind of jealous. So I think he'll kind of help be the glue to kind of bond them when they're having just like brother time. So they're gonna be like doing fun stuff and stuff like that that Sandy may not enjoy right away, but I think in the long run it'll definitely help them come more together. But I'm trying to think, is there anything else about Ness that I would want to see from him? I would kind of want to see a more stern side, serious, but I can't think of a situation where that would come up. Oh, you know what? Yes, I do. But I will wait till I get to that part because it has to do with Cam, their eldest brother. So let's get there. So let's get on Mr. Sandy. Okay, Sandy is so wound up tight that he can burp out his stomach. Like, he, number one, I just think he is going to relax. I think his first step in doing that, low key, was when he jumped into the pool at Isla's engagement party to stop her from killing Ness. I think that was his first step, and then opening up to them about his boyfriend breaking up with him and basically like being loose enough to even, talk about that. But I think he's going to loosen up. And I think when with him bonding with Ness and Jackie, I think that'll be one of his first steps, or a step that will help him to kind of just relax. Like, he is too wound up, and I think it has to also do with his mother and the fact that he is a half brother as well. Because Cam, Ness, and Isla, they all have the same mother, same father, and he was the only quote unquote outside child. So now that there's another outside child, he doesn't feel like the only one anymore. And I think that also had to do with why he felt a way about Ness and Jackie bonding so much. Um, but I also think that he's going to just build a better relationship with his brothers and Isla. And what I mean by that is he's been so wound up that he doesn't let loose. Like, I don't even know what they know about him on a personal level, like something that's like real to him. Because the fact that he hid his boyfriend from them for a year, like, what else don't they know about him? Like I think the only thing that they really knew about him not at work was that he was gay. So it's like, what else can they know from him? And I think we're just gonna see more of his relationship with his boyfriend, and he's not gonna be so ashamed of it, I guess is the word I'm gonna use. Yeah, like, he won't be so like trying to hide his man all the time. So that is basically all for Sandy. He's kind of boring, so I don't really expect that much. Oh, but like I said, as far as his relationship with Jackie, I think that he may be the one who encourages him to either go to college or to take some like actual classes so that he gets better at the business aspect of the business. Because, like I said, he's the only one who actually went to college to earn his job there in the organization. Cam. So Cam is the only one who wasn't really in the first season. So what we know about him is basically what Isla has told us. So I think we're gonna learn a little bit more about him, kind of in the way that we did with the others. So we're gonna learn kind of a little bit about more of his personal life. Like, as far as him doing stuff, I don't think he has a wife or kids or anything like that, but if he does, we'll probably get to know them or at least see mention of them, and kind of what else does he have going on besides drugs. Because what we know about him is that he is the president and he's good at his job, but that he does drugs, and that's it. So I think we're gonna do that. I kind of think he's gonna have a relapse with drugs. I don't know if it's gonna be like crazy or severe, but I think he will have a relapse. Maybe he'll get caught in the media or something like that. So that'll be like a scandal going on, in a way that would help him not get the job back. I think he's going to continue to sabotage Isla, because even though it may not appear to others that she's doing a good job, he still went to rehab for a serious drug problem. So even though he quote unquote is better at the job, as far as like monetarily, I think that's why people wouldn't call her good at her job, because she went against what the board would do in every turn. But I feel like in the long run, her choices are good to where people are actually happy to work there. Meaning, as far as like the actual like team and stuff, and in the long run, they have built better connections with their like business partners. But I think he may just get a demotion motion at work. I wrote to the vice president, but like I said, I don't know who's currently in that role or if they even have that. So they may have to make a position or put him in that position. Um, and then when it comes to the relapse with the drugs and stuff like that, I think he will either quit or get fired. And if he quits, I think he's going to end up trying to work for a different like basketball team, possibly Boston, how they kind of had that brewing as a possible arch enemy kind of thing since they took that Hooply deal from them. So that could be an option. But I also think that he's just going to um also get caught being the mole to that guy. And I think the person who's going to catch him as the mole or figure it out or whatever it is will be Ness. And I think that is where we're going to get Ness's like stern side and very like strict and serious, because I think Ness is one of the few people who sees that Isla is doing a good job, even if he may not always agree on what she has chosen. By the time we come back to season 2, I think that he will see that choices that were made for the right reasons. Um, yeah. And for our main character, Isla, I kind of have, strangely enough, not as much for her. Mainly, I think her main thing next season will be who will she choose romantically. Will she go with Jay Brown? You know, she kind of is on a break from her fiance, so and then they had that kiss. Like I said, there's already been some kind of like sexual tension brewing between them two. What's going to happen there? And but she also just basically allowed him to be let out of his contract as the coach. So it's like he just was ready to leave. Is he still going to leave, or is he going to want to pursue something here? I think they're going like they, as far as like the board, will stop him from being able to move on from his contract, even though she has allowed him to be with his kids. I think they're going to stop that. So it's going to make him have to stay there, which he will be mad about. But then building the relationship with her will make him be happy that he stayed. But I think Lev is going to realize that he was kind of tripping and is going to try to get her back. And she's going to be juggling the both of them, especially because if he comes back, he may even want her to pick up right where they left off trying to get married, and or he will let her know like, hey, this is what I want from a relationship. Who knows, they may even end up going to like premarital counseling or something like that, where they'll be able to learn these things about each other and determine whether they want to be together or not. But I also think another gripe that she's going to have this season, like a major thing, will be Cam and this mole situation. The fact that she went to that guy's podcast, because that is what it seemed like to me, a podcast. Like she was tripping out over this podcast dude. Went to his podcast dude and basically tore it up, trying to figure out who is over here telling him falsehoods about her team. And when she finds out that it's Cam, it's going to set off this whole thing. And I think she's going to start piecing it together or figuring it out, and I'm gonna wonder who will figure it out first. I still think the person who will be Ness, so I wonder if it's gonna be Ness or her who's gonna figure out who the mole is. But I think all of that together, that's going to be her main battle, is trying to defend herself and keep her job title as president, and basically prove why she, one, should have always had a more hands-on role with the team, but also why she should be the president. So we'll see. Now, I don't know if that it's already going to start out good, because they did lose that last game, so they're not going to the playoffs. But who knows? It's TV, so they may find a way. Oh, well, this team had an incident, so now you guys are in the game. You know how they always do in these kind of things. But that's about it with Isla. Like I said, not a lot with her because they basically closed out most of her stuff. But season 2 is what we're really going to get into the storyline with her. Said I came across the show maybe a few weeks after it like premiered on Netflix, so not too far off with this one. Check it out. You got some time. It has been picked up for a season 2, but no news yet as to when we would get that. I won't be surprised if we don't get it till next year. So fingers crossed, and we got some time. So maybe someone will see this and take some of my suggestions and throw that in there. Other than like the characters, only things that I could think of is if they end up picking up season 2, two options. We could pick up right where we left off, where she's walking into her office and Cam is there, or we're gonna come off to like some time has passed and they'll either be in the off season or in just the next basketball season. I would say the off season, just so that we have some time with her and the coach. So that way we have time to rebuild the team without having a rebuilding year, because the Waves don't do rebuilding years. And when it comes to that, we'll have training camps, so there'll be opportunities for the team to bond more, like the actual players on the team to bond more, as well as I don't even remember what that dude who they brought up from the D League, I don't know his name, but that'll give him opportunity to kind of get better and not be treated as a rookie that much longer. I think that is how we will get more opportunities for Cam to leak stuff to the blogger, and so that Ness will be able to catch him before Isla does. I think Isla and Brenda Song's character, they will take some time off and maybe go like on a spa day, on a vacation retreat type of thing, because they are also best friends. So I think that they need some more like girl time, because I don't see ways for Brenda Song to get more airtime, but I want to see her because I love her. And then also, speaking of, what was I gonna say? Speaking on Jackie, as far as one of his friends, I think that dude from the G League, him and him are gonna be friends, because I don't think that, well, we don't know much about that dude's background, but we do know that he's basically kind of broke because he's from the D League, from G League, whatever it is. So I think that will be a character that we will be able to see more of through Jackie. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, but that's about it. So, guys, now that you have heard of Running Point, go check it out. It's on Netflix. Put your comments down below. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me what questions you have after watching it, and some stuff that you either expect to see or just want to see. You know what I mean? Don't forget, leave that down below, because I want to have a discussion. We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it. And they see us talking about it, and they're gonna give us what we want. So put your comments, questions, inquiries, all that kind of stuff down below. Don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms. They are linked down below as well as on the screen. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell an enemy, to tell a stranger to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And that is all, y'all. Bye.
Look back while I twerk. No comparison. I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid. What was happening? What was happening?